So everyone always talks about things that they did right to retire. But what about the things that they almost did wrong? And that's what we want to talk to you guys about today, because in our case, there were 5 things that almost derailed our retirement dreams. And we want to make sure that you can learn from our mistakes and near misses so that yours goes somewhat smoother.
Yeah, don't get scared. Errol, we are just telling you our situation so you can learn from us on all the can I say mistakes or learning opportunities?
Learning opportunities.
Learning opportunities. And the first one is forgetting to budget for travel and the lifestyle as well as inflation.
Yeah, and this one goes for more than just us as full time travelers. It goes for everybody. I think when you look forward into your retirement, we often talk about making that plan, right? Budgeting for your future lifestyle that you're looking for. Please don't forget inflation, because it really does play a huge role in your final financial independence number. In our case, when we started this all the way back in 2020, we believed that all we were going to need was around $40,000 to be full-time world travelers. Well, we all know what happened in the way that inflation sort of overtook the world, not only in North America, but everywhere. So we had to take a hard look at our budget. We increased it to 60,000 with a buffer in case things tended to be more expensive than we believed. And that actually happened.
Yeah, it was a great idea because we have some flexibility now to play around with those numbers. But speaking of that, numbers, the second item that comes to my mind is not selling the house at the right time. I do remember going back to February or March 2024, we were planning to leave by April. That's when we decided to put our house in the market, and we thought, if you're gonna get so many offers, I don't know what is gonna happen. What did end up happening?
Yeah, we only got 2 offers on the house. It worked out in the end. But here's the thing. We had already decided the previous year that we were going to sell the house, that we weren't going to be keeping it. The market the previous year was really good in Toronto. Had we made the decision to sell a year before, 2 things would have happened. We would have hit a better market. We would have got more money from our house, more money to put into our investment. We would have had that year to get rid of the house and not stress about it the month before we were to no longer have a paycheck, right? And we could have just rented something for a year until such a time that we were ready to leave. So we missed out on a couple $100,000 on our house by waiting until the last minute to sell it. So maybe don't wait too long. If in your mind you're going to downsize anyways or sell completely, maybe do it a little bit sooner than you think, and then just move on to your next step.
Yeah, and the next step is we did not want to carry over. I mean, it's even difficult to say $60,000 in consumer debt that we've had. We figured this out at the beginning of our relationship and trying to get rid of this debt before. One of the things that we did, I'm not going to say we, even though it's we, but Christine, she was not used to track her numbers and having those numbers in a spreadsheet. When I came to her, I think it was for a good thing. When I came into her life, I came prepared with my spreadsheet and where am I spending this money or that money or that money. So by not tracking, maybe we wouldn't be able to be in a position that we are now.
Yeah, not tracking your numbers is a huge mistake. It's better to know, to be completely honest with you, than to live in oblivion, right? To be blissfully unaware of where your money is going is really going to end you up into some serious debt. And that's exactly what happened to me. I believe that because my paycheck was very good every month, that I didn't have to worry. I was going to be fine. I had this pension at the end of the day. And even though that line of credit seemed to creep up a little bit more every month, I wasn't too concerned. And it wasn't until we sat down and really looked at where the money was going that it was a bit of an eye-opener. So don't make that mistake. Make sure you're tracking your money every month.
Yes. And speaking of government plans and government workers, she was relying or thinking of relying too much on her pension to carry over forever. without sometimes thinking about the implications of having a pension or not, right? So those are the things that you need to consider, but don't rely in only one source of income. And that's what we do advocate for that. That's having different sources of income that it's going to help you live this lifestyle.
You really need to start looking at your income streams. A lot of us may qualify for government pensions down the road, which is fantastic, but those aren't necessarily 100% fingers crossed, they're 100% guaranteed, but they're not going to be sufficient for a really great quality of life that you should deserve after working so hard for so many years. So make sure you look forward, you plan for your future, know what you will be receiving in those benefits, and start developing other income streams that can help to supplement that in the future.
And now it's time for the biggest mistake that we had, even though I can't say that this is a mistake, I'm supposed to say learning opportunity, but it was actually a big mistake, which is getting too greedy with your investments. Right? Here's the story. Back in 2022, 2023, I'm going to link the video in the description, right? I'm going to link the video in the description so you can go back to 2022 and you can see how we were dealing with that. But basically, we end up investing money that we did not have. We end up having to step up and sell for a loss. And when I say a loss, it was more than $100,000 in loss that we had to deal with. Why? Because we were too greedy and thinking that the Mr. Market is gonna help us the next day, and then the next day, and then the next day, until the next day, we couldn't even sleep anymore.
Yeah, the market's a funny thing, right? When you start seeing those numbers go green, it's almost that dopamine hit, right? Like you get that good feeling. You're like, oh, this is good. I know what I'm doing. And so you're buying and selling a little bit, maybe a little bit of active trading in there. And when we were getting $3,000-$4,000 in capital gains on a trade, that made us excited. So we stepped it up a little bit and we borrowed money from a margin account in order to invest in what we thought was going to be a really good investment. The opposite happened at the end of 2022 into 2023. We all know what the markets did, and they went down. And this particular stock never really recovered for well over a year after that, to the point where we couldn't, mostly me, but we couldn't sleep at night. I was too worried about it. So at the end of the day, we just decided to cut our loss. It was good or bad in a margin account. So that capital loss has been carried forward. We can use it throughout the upcoming years to offset some of our capital gains. But the ultimate lesson here is don't get greedy. Stick to what you know how to do. It might be boring, but choose your investments, ETFs for growth, safe dividend stocks for income, real estate for rental, things like that. But try not to get sucked in and overconfident, because you're going to get over leveraged and that could really derail your retirement.